Hello and welcome to this edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. We have a wonderful lineup just for you. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
As we're still in the hurricane season, we continue to focus on preparedness. And you know what they say? It's better to be safe than to be sorry. You could say that's the mantra of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM. Acting Director General Richard Thompson is here to discuss hurricane straps as it relates to construction. It could mean the difference between life and death and, of course, minimal property damage during the passage of a hurricane. Let's join in on the conversation.
Hello and welcome to Get the Facts. It's a program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host for today, Ruth Campbell. With the hurricane season in full swing, it is crucial to stay informed about the measures that can protect our homes and communities. In this episode, we'll be diving into the important role hurricane straps play in roof construction. We'll explore how these simple yet effective tools can make a big difference in safeguarding your property against severe weather conditions. Here to share expert insights with us on this critical topic is Acting Director General, Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, Richard Thompson. Mr. Thompson, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Always good to have you.
Yes.
Now, during the recent passage of Hurricane Beryl, several homes got damaged, the roofs, and we want to know, based on your assessments that you've seen, if some of these could have been spared if they were using hurricane straps.
Well, yes, and one of the reasons for that is a lot of the roofs that weren't classified. Well, I would not classify them as resilient roofing construction. And as part of the resilient roofing construction, hurricane straps, or what they call hurricane ties in North America, are a significant component of your roofing members.
Yes, yes.
And that helps now to anchor your entire roof to your roof plate, and also helps to anchor all the roof members, and there are a number of them, which is your rafters, your ridge board, common rafters, purlins, all those members, and also your struts. It helps to tie all those into one and make your roof member a more solid and resilient structure.
Okay.
So it helps.
Yes.
It helps significantly in terms of ensuring that your roof is in place. Because you notice that you will go into some communities after a hurricane event and you'll see entire roofs that are taken off, and like someone just took it off the house and put it down on the ground. So your hurricane ties or your hurricane straps actually help in that as well as your roof plate bolts that helps to anchor your entire roof structure to the building itself.
Right, that's a lot of words you're using there that I'm sure many of us do not know. Tell me about the hurricane straps. What are they exactly?
So they are simple design reinforced metal. Some of them are in just a straight piece of metal that is twisted to give it more strength, and also you might find them in U or a bent. So you'll get a straight piece here, and it is curved at the top. So this piece is anchored to the lower member, and this one goes up over your rafter, and then anchor in place.
Right. So are all roofs can use the hurricane strap?
Yeah. Once it's your roof that will take zinc sheeting, then you use hurricane straps. Your slab roofing is a whole different ball game where you're putting in rebars and cement. So that's a whole different thing. But once you're putting in any kind of roof that will be using zinc type or steel sheeting, then you will have hurricane straps in play. If you have roofs that are reinforced steel members, you won't see hurricane straps. Where a lot of the steel members are welded in place. So you'll see a lot of that in warehousing construction, where you see some real large steel beams, and those is used as part of the roof member, and not necessarily timber. So once you're going timber in terms of your roof member, then you will need to put in hurricane reinforcement, which is your hurricane straps, or otherwise called hurricane ties.
So tell us about the process of installing the hurricane straps.
So it's using screws, not nail, because nail is easily pulled out if you're having high wind to take your roof off. So you either use screws, which they are screwed in place, or you actually can drill into the roof members, that's your rafters, and use bolt. So it's put the bolt inside and use the nut on the other side to lock the bolt in place. So you can either go two ways, a screw, which is a large enough screw that you screw all the way into the timber, or you drill through it and put a bolt and lock it on the other side with a nut.
So it's very technical. So tell me.
It's because your roofing is really an engineered structure.
Yes.
So it becomes very technical, and what you have to ensure from a resilience standpoint, that you get a proper artisan, proper carpenter who is good at roofing, because not everyone is good at roofing. Because your roofing is one of your most intricate construction member of a overall building construction. And so a lot of time persons will get persons to build their roof, and then you find that the roof is leaking.
Yes.
And it takes you forever to stop the leak because the person is not.
So can you put the straps in after you?
Yes, you can.
Oh,
yes, you can.
Good,
so if you're doing retrofitting, which we classify that as retrofitting,
yes,
you can actually put in your straps after your roof has gone in. So what we have been saying to persons is to do your checks. So for instance, a person would have purchased a home and they didn't construct it from scratch for themselves. Get someone to go through, do the checks, because you can get into the roof through the little escape hatch in the roof, and you go up and do the check, and then you do your retrofitting.
Good. Happy to hear that. Really happy to hear that. So we think, Jen, a lot of us believe that boy straps don't make any sense. What would you tell? What would you say to us?
There are always persons who are naysayers and believe that, okay, so you're saying that this is a piece of steel will hold my roof in place. So we're saying to persons, it does. There are benefits to in terms of hurricane ties.
Okay.
But beyond that as well, there is also your roof plate bolts that actually anchors the entire roof member.
We're gonna come back to that.
To the building.
Yes. So hurricane straps do work. So let us not be saying that it doesn't make any sense. We're going to take a break now and come back with more useful information on the value of hurricane straps.
Mosquitoes will breed in containers that hold water. Tightly cover water storage containers such as drums, buckets and tanks, or cover the water surface with cooking oil. Punch holes in all tins, plastic containers and boxes to prevent the collection of water before disposal. Cover old tires or fill with dirt. Scrub all vases once per week to remove mosquito eggs, and dispose of garbage by placing in plastic bags. Do your part to prevent mosquito breeding. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We're discussing the use of hurricane straps in roof construction with Acting Director General of ODPEM, Richard Thompson. Tell us, Mr. Thompson, how often should persons review their straps or replace their straps to ensure that they're effective?
It's a very, very good question. A roof, the lifespan of a roof is 25 to 50 years. What you want to do is you do your assessment probably every 5 years. You can do your checks, because if your metal members, which your hurricane strap is getting moisture, then it will corrode, and then once it starts, there is corrosion, it will lose the strength that it has. So it's roughly every 5 years. But if you're having severe leakage, which sometimes persons tend to have, then you would have to do your check when you're doing your repairs to your roof to ensure that those straps that you have in place have not been corroded to the point where it has weakened the overall structure of the strap itself, and then do your change. But if everything is normal, then a properly constructed roof can last 25 years and sometimes way beyond 25 years.
Right.
So a lot of persons, they do a purchase, that house has been in play for 25 years, and they're changing the roof and the roof design. Then they're putting straps within the roof design. But beyond the strap itself, sometimes is the type of roof that person uses that also ensure resilience.
Right.
You have about 15 basic type of roofs. One of the better ones is your pyramid type hip roofs.
Right.
So if you're driving around Kingston and you see some roof, it's shaped in the form of a pyramid, those are normally the better roofs to put in terms of the roof design itself. So your hip roof or your gable roof is one of your better roof to put in place. And there's another one now that has the same pyramid type design, but it kind of taper off at the end. That's called a Dutch roof. That is good as well. But the deeper the hip, which is the slope itself, the more resilient the roof can be to wind effect.
Really? But it is not... You sound like you're talking about water on the roofs.
Well, it's not necessarily water, but your wind will blow in. So the wind is blowing and it blows into the roof. So if your roof is flat, because you do have flat roof as a part of it,
right,
the wind can get under the roof itself,
okay,
and take the zinc off. But if your roof is like this, what normally happens? The wind blow into here, and then it goes out.
Right.
So it's difficult to get under the tail itself of the zinc sheeting and to take the zinc sheeting off.
Sometimes you are really giving us some technical information. How does ODPEM help the homeowner or the person doing the construction to put proper practices in place to ensure that our roofs are safe?
Well, as part of our resilient roofing campaign, we have a manual. This date back sometimes, and we have re-engage the process by relaunching that whole program.
Yes.
And that program came out of Hurricane Gustav in 2008.
With Strappy.
With Strappy,
yes.
The famous hurricane strap mascot. And so we have relaunched that. We're as part of that, which was developed jointly between DFID then under ODPEM, and the Hard Trust NTA was a critical part of that really designed the whole manual to ensure that it was in keeping with code, and we have a new modern code system now. So we have rebranded that manual, and those manuals are there for distribution, where artisans, owners can look at that manual and look at what is required in terms of how to make their roofs resilient.
Right, but you actually have a link with HART, and
yes.
So people may go to HART to get proper training.
And proper training, and also what we are saying to persons as well, ensure that when you are doing your roofing and overall your building construction, because resilience infrastructure goes beyond just resilient roofing. You have to ensure that your building itself is resilient, because Cat 4, Category 4, Category 5 winds can take down concrete structure if they are not properly reinforced. So we are saying to persons, ensure that you follow the process by going through the formal building system, where you get an architect to do your design, you submit that design in terms of the plan itself to your local authorities for approval, and then you build to your approved drawing, and you ensure that you hire and employ properly trained builders to do your construction.
Okay. So what are some of the other critical measures that we need, aside from the hurricane straps, that we need to consider when we're building or renovating?
Well, To ensure that, as I said before, you have proper artisans, that you are building to code, because there's a national code system,
Right.
to ensure that you're building to code, and to ensure that you put in proper rebars, you're using your timber that is treated, because a lot of time persons will put in roofing, but they don't use treated timber. And what's going to happen? You're going to have those going over time with all those termites and those things will destroy your roof member, and then you will see a nice pretty roof, but you don't know what is happening on the inside.
Right.
So you use those treated material, you ensure that you putting in wall plate bolts right around to ensure that you can anchor the roof itself to your building properly.
Right. So persons who are building can call ADPEM
Yes, I can.
to probably get some information as to how best to go about building the roof so it is safe. So you can always
and also your local authorities, all the municipal corporation that have their building department, that have their engineers, and also the Heart Trust NTA is there as well.
Good.
That has trained persons to help persons to do the necessary that will make their roofs and their building overall resilient.
So much more we have to talk about, because we haven't talked about battening down. We haven't talked about is concrete roofs always safe. There's so much more that we could talk about, but that's all the time we have, so we have to wrap here. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
For coming again, Mr. Thompson, to share with us.
Thank you.
So this has been Get the Facts, and our guest was Acting Director, Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, Richard Thompson. Thank you so very much for watching. Until next time, take good care. I'm Rose Campbell.
You may be aware of this Garvey quote: "A people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots," alluding to the matter of humans not having a flourishing future without the understanding of where they are coming from to keep them grounded. It was Garvey who also said, "Intelligence rules the world, ignorance carries the burden." In this day of information, knowledge is all around us. Easily with internet access, we carry around a library with us. We need only to search and search ardently, look deeply into reliable sources. Then we must free ourselves of any ignorant beliefs we may have previously held. The great orator also said, "The pen is mightier than the sword, but the tongue is mightier than them both put together." Educating oneself on a matter increases one's knowledge. With that, one's chances of making informed decisions and acting with prudence grows. The phrase "knowledge is power" is not one to be taken lightly, but to be taken with deep thought and to be acted upon fiercely while understanding the power of knowing. To bring it full circle, we take a quote from another tremendous leader, Kofi Annan, who reiterated the sentiment, "Knowledge is power," and said that information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress in every society, in every family. That's it for this week's Sunday Afternoon Detox. See you next time.
Women have been doing a lot these days. Take any area of life and you will find their presence, however scarce. Our next feature looks at such scarcity. It's women in unconventional spaces. Come with me as we explore Mara Harding's journey.
is Mara Harding, a self-taught woodologist, a term she coined as a result of the profession she now leads, which is...
So I get to breathe new life into these trees and convert them into pieces for wholly for other people to enjoy, instead of it being wasted and dumped or burnt. So I always tell people I don't cut trees to make furniture, I make furniture to rescue trees. Okay, so this is where I pour my resin. This is a teak table, and inset into these areas are going to be glass and resin. This is teak that I took from a construction site, actually up here in Stony Hill. This is tamarind. This is my logo. You see it on a lot of the pieces. This is guango, light fixture.
The wife and mother of two walked the corporate line before landing what she now recognizes as her purpose. Having had a successful career in the advertising business, working with big-name clients, she was searching.
And didn't have the answers, but I knew I wanted to create.
So Mara did what a lot of people would consider unthinkable. She closed her successful ad business to pursue the unknown.
So, wrote to all the clients, gave them notice that we were shutting down the agency, and then I took about 4 months and I just journaled. I just went by a river up by red light, close to, like if you're on your way up to Greenwich, like Irish Town side. Sit at the river and I would just journal, and just asking like, what am I here? Why am I here? What is my reason for being?
Her new hobby gave her more than just solace, it gave her zeal.
So Christmas was coming and I started making Christmas decorations just to kind of get my juices flowing. Made them, not one sold. And I was like, I can't give up like this. Like, this cannot be the start of my creative journey where nothing sells. So I went on to Pinterest and I noticed that there was a lot of really cool stuff made from wood. Wreaths and Christmas trees and all of that. I had a plum tree, and at that time of year, the plum loses all of its leaves. So I went with a saw and I sawed off a couple of the limbs, and I ended up making them into wreaths. Rambo, that's here with me now, he was one of the ones helping me. We were cutting off the limbs and making all of these cool Christmas decorations, and every single one of them sold. And that's when I had the aha moment that it was wood. And I knew absolutely nothing. I didn't know anything about wood, anything about carpentry, tools, nothing, zero.
She made about $400 in profit, and with the purchase of a few handheld tools, Mara Made Designs was set in motion.
And every time I made something and sold it, I bought another tool. And I did a lot of research on YouTube, I did a lot of research just on the internet to figure out what I could use to carve. I worked outside on a tarpaulin, and every time it rained, we'd have to run inside with the tools.
Looking back now, she realizes that there were some signs along the way that she had ignored.
So I'll give you an example. About 6 years prior, a huge, massive privet tree was cut down by JPS across from UE, and past it, and I couldn't sleep that night. And the next day I went, I drove, and I looked at the tree, and it's just, I kept getting called back to this tree. And I called the guys at Rado, I know them very well. And I said, I need you to help me move this tree. You can bring the saws and come cut it up for me.
Admitting that she needs help is nothing arduous for Mara. In fact, she alluded to this several times throughout her interview. Giving much credit to her team of 2 male companions and several other people she hires on contract, she is aware of her limits. Woodwork is undoubtedly a male-dominated area, so we were keen to know how it has been for Mara.
Rough. They give me the hardest time. It's had its challenges. There were times where we were doing a lot of installations and I would go on site and the other contractors doing work would ignore me and just go straight to my workmen and be asking my workmen questions, and they're like, you need to ask her. And it's like they just couldn't bring themselves to ask me, right?
Wrong, that is, to assume she doesn't have the answers when it comes to this type of work.
This is mango, cedar. They're my children. Don't you remember your children's names? They're all my children. I remember I can tell you where every single piece comes from. I can tell you what trees are when they're already cut. I have a hard time telling you what they are when they're standing up in the air, right? I'm more familiar with the grain patterns and I can smell them too and I can tell you, oh, that's this, that's this, that's this.
With almost 9 years since her business started, she has accomplished a lot with her work being enjoyed by individuals all over the island. Now she's encouraging others to become rescuers of trees.
I really need to get with the government and we need to set up even just a temporary, when you have temporary shelters, we need to set up a temporary field location that when you do have hurricanes, instead of the trucks dumping the wood at the dump, they dump it in specific areas. Then that wood gets cut up and used back to teach at the art academies and the different technical schools. And then that furniture gets put back into the schools. So it's a cycle that we should be encouraging. And I am determined to try and figure out how to get that done. But it does require funding and it does require some effort and some buy-in from the government and the different social entities, but all doable.
We all play a pivotal role in proactively filling up the blood bank by donating blood, by encouraging those who can donate to do so regularly, and by offering support, whatever that looks like. So be it to retweet it, be it to ask a family member, tell a friend, a co-worker, a colleague, even a stranger.
1 liter of blood can save 3 lives. You can give half of that at any of the Ministry of Health and Wellness's blood collection sites. There is no time to wait in a time of crisis where blood is needed. Every passing moment, the life of someone who needs blood hangs in the balance.
I stand here before you as a testimony of the life-saving effects of donating blood. Someone gave, that's why I am alive today.
If you are 17 to 60 years old and in good health, please give so others can live.
And with that, we've come to the end of today's show. To catch a repeat of this or any other, feel free to log on to our website, jis.gov.jm. Until next time, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.